This iconic photograph, entitled Migrant Mother, was taken in 1936 by photographer Dorothea Lange. It was created for the U.S. government's Resettlement Administration, a federal agency established to document and address the plight of urban and rural poor Americans during the 1930s. The photograph's strength lies in its emotional impact, combined with its reoccurring presence in newspapers, magazines, exhibitions, and display, and it cemented its place in America's collective memory of the 1930s. Lange's Migrant Mother was taken in Nipomo, California, and is the single most recognizable image from the Great Depression, epitomizing the desperate circumstances many found themselves in during the period. The Dust Bowl drought of the 1930s was one of the worst environmental disasters of the 20th century anywhere in the world. 3 million people left their farms on the Great Plains during the drought, and 500,000 migrated to other states, almost all of them to the west. The Dust Bowl was a disaster created by human activity, combining drought and poor land use practices that led to this environmental catastrophe. The Dust Bowl tragedy occurred when farmers plowed the native grasses of the Great Plains. Winds combined with loose cultivated topsoil, creating giant dust clouds reaching 30,000 feet into the air, traveling east around the world. The migration in the United States during the 1930s was the largest the U.S. had ever known, as tens of thousands sought better opportunities. Dust Bowl migrants who had lost their farms and tenant farmers and sharecroppers were evicted from their homes, packed up and moved. On foot, horse-drawn wagons, cars, and trucks, they took to the road seeking opportunities for work in agriculture or permanent residence where jobs were available. One of the standard terms for all these vagabond migrants was Okie, although the majority did not come from Oklahoma. The federal government had to intervene, and the Farm Security Administration established refugee camps with facilities including shelters, food, showers, nursery schools, health clinics, and community activities. These camps were well managed and self-governed, and they benefited only a fraction of the migrants. The legacy of Roosevelt's New Deal is partly reflected in the significant increase in national power, as the federal government assumed responsibility for the nation's economic stability and prosperity. In retrospect, most historians and economists judge the period as a tremendous success. The New Deal not only established minimum standards for wages, working conditions, and overall welfare, but it also enabled millions of Americans to retain their homes, farms, and savings. The New Deal ushered in a permanent shift in the country's political culture, from one of individualism to the establishment of a welfare state. No one denies the fact that Roosevelt's presidency expanded the role of the federal government in all people's lives, generally for the better.